everybody. Welcome once again to Mike's Laboratory. Hope everyone is doing okay and enjoying life and having fun, just like me. And today I have a repair and display tip for you, and I also have a cool new item to show you. I posted up the new item in my Facebook group recently. Some of you may have seen it, but in this little video I'm going to give you a close-up look at it and show you how well it matches up with Joe. All right, so let's not screw around anymore. Let's get right into it. Be right back. All right, here we go. First thing I have to show you is this cool little gadget. This here came from Hobby Lobby, and it was cheap. I'll show you the box here. This is a Mars Rover. It's basically a kid's snap together kit. $7.99. Pretty cool. Anyway, and you can make 3 different vehicles out of this, as you can see on the side panels there. You have the one on the left is the Mars Engineering Vehicle. Mode number 1 that you see there on the right is the Mars Detector, and the one down in the lower right there is the Mars Chariot, which appears to be a weapons carrier. I thought this was pretty neat, and at the price I couldn't pass it up. So let me grab this thing and we'll show you. I did the Mars Detector version for the first build, and as you can see, it's kind of a cool little snap together kit. Wheels roll. There's something else cool about it I'll show you in a bit. All these little pieces went together just like a snap together model kit, and there was one hell of a lot of them too, let me tell you. There's some decals that go with it, and when you roll it, this thing on the back here is a solar panel, and it actually does work, but it ain't real powerful. You have to stick it way up into the lights to make it work. I'll show you that. Give me a sec here. Yeah, I know. I always have to do stuff like this because I don't script any of this. I just do it. If I stuff it up into this light here, the instructions claim that the thing will work in bright sunlight outside. I haven't tried it yet, but based on the fact that to get it to do anything at all, I have to stick it way up in this light bulb here. Makes me kind of doubt that, but we'll test it at some point. Or maybe there's a way to go ahead and substitute this solar panel for a battery or something. I'll have to figure out how much voltage is coming out of this and see if I can do that. But in any event, even if that doesn't work out, it's a pretty cool looking static model. As you can see here, put Joe next to it here, my mini-me. You can see that it is, I don't know, fairly good as far as size go. In my mind, this was always kind of the size of the actual Mars rover, even though I don't really know how big that thing is. Anyhow, pretty neat. As far as the other manifestations or versions of it that you can build with the kit, I found that trying to pop these things off once they were already pressed in was pretty bitchy, and with the possibility of breaking them. Each of the different versions is, you can see from the pictures, let me get those out again. On the box here, as you can see, they have different stuff on there. This is the engineering module, or the engineering version. This is the one I built, the detector version, and the Chariot. If you compare them, you'll see that they have different accessories on them. So what I think I'm going to do is buy one more at that price, or maybe even 2 more, and build one of each, rather than trying to pop these off and change it into something else. Looks to me like a little bit of paint and a couple AT stickers, and this would be a pretty cool drone for various purposes for the adventure team. Anyhow, pretty cool. Oh, also how it works. This battery powers a little itty bitty motor that's inside of here that just spins the middle wheels. Kind of reminds me of Big Track, only the center wheel is powered. Any event, Pretty cool. Very good buy for the money, I think. And if you have kids, this might be something cool you want to put together with them. Mars Rover from Hobby Lobby. Get yours today. Okay, give me a sec here and I'll be right back with our tip. Okay, tip for the day. This, as you can see, is a vintage G.I. Joe leg, calf, thigh, and foot. Do you have trouble keeping your Joe standing? Do you feel it's necessary to use figure stands in your display? Well, I hate figure stands and I don't use them. I think they look terrible and they kind of detract from the display. Every last one of the Joes in my displays stands on his own, and the reason why they do is because most of them I've had to restring. I tend to buy beater Joes and fix them up rather than looking for, beautiful vintage stuff. So if you collect like I do, this tip could be very helpful. You'll notice this one has some pretty bad knee cracks beyond the ordinary, and the joints are kind of loose. What I've discovered is if you're going to freestand a Joe on a display, the ankle joint is the main reason why they like to fall over. Because if you got a loose ankle joint, they very easily want to tip either way and go over. Especially the talkers, since the talkers are so top heavy with that talk unit in the torso. So, what I do after restringing them or during the process of rebuilding a Joe is very simple. There's two ways of doing this. You want to tighten these rivets up, and that will keep these nice and stiff so they'll stand on their own, no problem. G.I. Joe's original design is basically, the way it can pose and keep the limbs in, in one position, where however you pose them is based on the tightness of these rivets and the tightness of the stringing to some extent. All right, first way to do this is you take a pair of miniature channel locks. I've shown these off before. I find these indispensable. I have a couple pairs. This one is the one I used to use for doing rivets. You see I ground off the teeth so they wouldn't mar the rivets so bad. But I also found that they do have a tendency to slide off the rivet sometimes. But if you do it carefully with one of these, you put that on there and just give that rivet a nice firm squeeze, making sure that you are centered on the rivet, like so. And just give it a good squeeze, and that will tighten it up. Another way that I've been doing, which is better, but is somewhat more risky, is to do this. Take my vise over here. Give me a sec to adjust this camera and get this thing out of the way. Everybody be able to see it. This works better, but you got to use more care. Small ball peen hammer. You also notice these cracks in here. A lot of times, not every time, but a lot of times you tap this rivet tighter, it'll close them cracks up fairly much. Anyhow, let's see if that happens with this one. What I do is I take the leg and I bend it about like that. I lay the rivet on the hard surface. You don't have to use a vise, obviously. You could use anything. Flathead side down on the hard surface. And just very gently give it some taps. All right. And you work it. It's nice and stiff now. And as you can see, although the bigger crack didn't close too much, that smaller one did quite a bit. On a figure where it's got the normal size knee cracks, not bad ones like this, it tends to work even better. Same goes for the foot. Obviously, since the ankle, this piece of the foot sticks out a little more, you need to be careful. Make sure you got only your rivet lying on there. Position it however is necessary to avoid hammering on the plastic. And with these smaller rivets, like this one, use the ball peen end of the hammer. Whoops. And that tightens up the foot. I do this on every restoration I do on a Joe. Usually I use the hammer method now, but sometimes using the channel locks comes in handy too. If you use one where it's not smooth and you have the jaws on it, or the teeth on the jaws, you will mar up the rivet and mar up the paint. And it usually looks like that. However, I normally repaint the rivets, you can also sand or use a grinding wheel to get the marks out of it if you do it that way. I have found that if you restring them and tighten up these rivets, they'll stand just fine on their own. I don't have a single figure stand in my collection, and all my Joes stand just fine. In the 20 years I've been collecting G.I. Joes and doing this, I have had maybe 2 shelf dives that I can remember. So, this is a viable method for getting rid of them ugly figure stands. Anyhow, I hope that this was informative. I hope that it helped you guys out. Anybody has these issues, and it works. Just be careful. Don't crack the plastic. Don't beat on the rivet too hard, like I said. All right, guys. That's it for this little short one. If anybody's got any questions or any sort of extra information or an alternative idea on how to do this differently, that works better or works the same, fire away in the comments. All right. You guys have a great day. Y'all have a great night. Have a better tomorrow. And we'll see you next time on another episode of Mike's Laboratory. Later.